Now, let us look at the interpretation of the London's equation. What does it mean for superconductivity? If you recall that the London's equation had this form, that the current density is minus 1 by lambda square A. A is the superconducting penetration depth, or also the London's penetration depth. And this equation says that there are very large diamagnetic shielding currents set up in the superconductor which screen the interior of the magnetic field from the superconductor. This is another form of the London's equation. Del square B is 1 by lambda square B. And this also gives you the form that if you have a superconductor and outside the superconductor you apply magnetic field, then the magnetic fields get shielded. The superconductor completely screens out the magnetic field by setting up shielding currents which are flowing on the boundaries of the superconductor, and this shields the external magnetic field from the core of the sample. This is the basic idea of the London's equation. But this diamagnetic shielding current that you get, does it have some other meaning to it? And is it does it correspond to something for the superconductor? So this is a very special form of the current density. So to get an interpretation, I'll give you a sort of overview, a brief sort of an outline of what else it might mean. So for that you need to go back and look at your quantum mechanics, and in quantum mechanics, for an individual electron moving with for an individual electron with a wave function psi, the current density associated with this electron is minus IE h cross by m psi star gradient of psi minus psi gradient of psi star, and this basically corresponds to the probability current to the left and probability current to the right. And if the two cancel out, of course there is no current density, but if there is more probability current towards one direction, then you have basically some current density in the system. Now this is far as an electron in zero magnetic field. Now if you take an electron in a magnetic field, then the equation changes slightly. Okay, and this is an important equation for which I'll not give the derivation, but I'll just indicate to you how it is derived. So basically for an electron in a magnetic field, B is curl of A is the vector potential. This is the Hamiltonian of the system. Now, if rho is the probability density of the particle, then the current density J satisfies this relation, which is the continuity equation. And if you put in rho out here, then of course there are terms like psi dot and psi star dot which you will get, rate of change of psi and rate of change of psi star. And these can be obtained by h psi is equal to I h cross del psi by del t, and similarly you will have an equation for the psi star. Okay, and if you do all that, if you do all that and then you put it back here with simplifications, it's a little bit cumbersome, but you can get it. Then one can show that in the presence of a magnetic field, the current density is minus IE h cross by m psi star gradient of psi minus psi gradient of psi star minus E square by m mu naught. Now C and mu naught are basically coming from your units, okay. A psi star psi. So this is already what you are familiar with, okay. The Gordon's equation, that the current density has a contribution which is from the left current density, and probability current towards the left and probability current towards the right. It's a combination of the two to give you the net current density in the system. And there is this additional current, okay, which is associated with the vector potential, which is related to the vector potential of the magnetic field. Okay, now this is as far as an individual electron is concerned. Now if you want an interpretation to interpret the London's equation, the following assumptions are made. Assume that the entire electronic state inside the superconductor is assume that the entire electronic state inside the superconductor is given by one single wave function psi. That means the entire superconducting state is described by one single wave function psi. You are not describing a single electron inside the system, but you are trying to describe the entire wave function. You are trying to describe the entire collective state of electrons inside the system by one single wave function psi. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, and the second thing is that you consider that the left and right probability currents for each electron in the superconducting state cancels out. Namely, for each electron that you take inside the system, the wave function, of course, for each electron is given by psi. It is no different for, so all electrons in the system, all electrons are described by the same wave function psi, okay, and the psi star gradient of psi is equal to psi gradient of psi star for every electron. That means for each electron you can find an equivalent electron which is you can, if one electron has a right moving probability current, you can find another electron which has another left moving probability current, so that the net for the entire superconducting state becomes 0. So if this is the case, the net probability current for the superconducting state becomes 0, which means that in this current density term, minus IE H cross by 2m psi star gradient of psi minus psi gradient of psi star minus E square mu naught by m a psi star psi. This term, this complete term goes to 0, because for every electron there is an equal and opposite electron which is moving with the opposite momentum, or for every electron moving in one direction, probability current density in one direction, there is an equivalent electron in this superconducting state which has an opposite probability current, so that the net for the entire electronic state of the system is 0. Remember that psi here is not describing an individual electron inside the system, it is describing the entire electronic state of the system, which means that it describes each and every, the same wave function is used for each and every electron inside the system. This is unlike other systems, other solids, where you don't describe the entire electronic state with one single wave function. But here you are actually describing the entire electronic state with one single wave function. Now, what is the outcome of these two? Outcome of these two assumptions is that, so let's go over the assumptions once again. The first and very important assumption is that the entire electronic state is described by one single wave function when the material becomes a superconductor. Namely, you don't have a separate wave function for each electron inside the system with a separate amplitude and a phase, but the entire superconducting state, or each and every electron inside the superconductor, has the same amplitude and the same wave function. So this is a very important assumption, and we will justify this later on. But when we go into the theories of superconductivity, but now to interpret the London's equation, if you assume this, then you give every electron inside the system the same wave function. It has the same magnitude, it has the same amplitude and the same phase. Okay, so it looks like as if every electron is moving in phase with each other, or each and every electron inside the system is in phase with the other electron. It looks as if like a troop which is marching. When you look at a troop which is marching, you will find that every person is maintaining its relative position with respect to the other, and it is matching in complete unison with the other. Okay, so it is almost as if like that you cannot describe an individual person different from another person. It's not like when the entire troop is marching or an entire column of people are marching, then one person is marching in a different way compared to the other. All of them are marching in the same. So you can describe this entire thing as a one single state. You know, so it's almost like that all the electrons have the same amplitude and the same phase once it is in the superconducting state. And furthermore, every right moving electron will have an equivalent left moving electron inside the system, so that in this net wave function, the total contribution to the momentum, the total contribution to this momentum becomes equal to 0. So because this every electron has an equal and opposite partner with an equal and opposite momentum, so the current density of this system can now be written just as minus E square mu naught by m a psi star psi, and psi star psi is nothing else but now the total density of electrons, or the total density of charge carriers which is there in this superconducting state. And we can therefore write J as equal to minus ns E square mu naught by m a. And if you recall, lambda was square root of m over ns E square mu naught, and so J is minus 1 by lambda square a. This is your London's equation. So your London's equation has a very important connection with the microscopic behavior of the superconductor, namely this diamagnetic current, diamagnetic shielding current, which is set up in the superconductor in response to a magnetic field, has very important connotations. It arises because the entire superconducting state develops a sort of rigidity. Okay, the interpretation is that the entire superconducting state, which means the entire electric state in the superconductor, develops a sort of rigidity. By that I mean that all electrons in the superconducting state are described by the same magnitude and phase. So the entire electronic state, whereas before it becomes superconducting, the electrons inside the solid are randomly moving around. Okay, they are moving around and each electron is behaving completely separately from the other electron. But the moment you go below the superconducting state, now the system starts behaving very differently. Once you are here, the electron now starts behaving as if each electron is behaving similarly to another electron. The entire electron has condensed into the same state and every electron is behaving identically like the other electron with the same wave function. So each electron is given the same wave function with the same magnitude and phase. So this is what we mean by the rigidity developing in the electronic state of the superconductor, and it is in a equivalent to a zero momentum state. For every right moving electron there is a left moving electron, which cancels out the center of mass momentum of the system. The net center of mass momentum of the entire superconducting state is equal to 0. Okay, because for every right moving electron there is a left moving electron, which actually gives rise to a total center of mass of the system equal to 0. And this actually, if you include all of this, then in the presence of magnetic field you will have a large diamagnetic shielding current, which is set up because of the magnetic field applied to the system. The system responds by setting up a large diamagnetic shielding current.